That's right, Clash Royale is now an n8n, and I'm going to be showing you guys how you can integrate it into your workflows so you can start building customizable apps and automations for Clash Royale all within n8n. So let's get into it. Alright, so what I have here is something called the Clash Receipt. So this is a customized app that I built for Clash Royale, and the entire backend is handled by n8n. So quickly, let me show you guys how it works. We're gonna go over here and grab Jinxie's player tag. So we're gonna go ahead and copy the player tag. We're gonna paste the player tag in here, and it's going to press expose me. So what this does is it pretty much makes a roasting receipt based on that player. So it'll go ahead and scrape the player's information, all of his previous last 40 games, I believe, and it'll give you pretty much a summary based on what they are. So this is Jinxie. He's actually won the last 21 out of his 30 games, 70% win rate. Shows you his average elixir, his most used card, and now it kind of gives you a quick little summary. So Jinxie thrives on sneaky graveyard spells and swarms down with the witch and giant backup, but watch out relying on arrows like it's a magic crutch, leaves them vulnerable to bait decks. And pretty much it goes through and kind of just roasts them. You know, like if arrows were a sponsor, Jinxie would be living large too. Too bad the rest of the deck is just along for the ride. Tilts faster than giant snowball rolling down a hill. You know, like it pretty much just roasts the hell out of that player. And you know, we could pretty much do another search real quick. We'll grab Riley, another famous Clash Royale player. And we'll go hop into here, quickly test it out, and we're gonna show you guys a quick little receipt. And then from here, we'll go into the actual n8n back end and show you guys how we can build this all out. But pretty much you can see for Riley, he's actually won the last 20 of his 30 games, a 66% win rate. His most used card recently is the Magic Archer, which if you've been keeping up with any of his YouTube videos, he's just pretty much posting about the Magic Hero Archer and how broken it is, so that pretty much makes sense. But yeah, that's pretty much the little application that I built. So let's go into the back end and see how it actually works. All right. So the first step of the application of what we have is our webhook. So this webhook is just a webhook to my application. You can have any type of trigger, so any way to upload the player tag to the application. So as long as you can have a way, whether it's through Slack or a form submission, it doesn't matter. Just some way to get the player tag, as you saw how we posted it in the app, into the workflow. So once you have that into the workflow, we're now going to start getting into how we can build this out. But before we start getting into the rest of this workflow, I just want to make sure you guys obviously have the trigger set. But once you get to this step, we're actually going to go to the Clash Royale API. So you're going to go to developer.clashroyale.com. And if you don't already have an account made, you're going to have to create an account. Very simple. You just sign up with your email and then you have access. But from here, we're going to go into the documentation. Once you're into the documentation, it's actually going to show you all of the possible APIs that we can call and access to. So you can get the clans, players, cards, tournaments, a bunch of different things, which I'm sure you can start imagining all the customizable apps you can create as well. But to be able to access all of this, you have to obviously create an access token first. So we're going to open up my account here through this link. And then over here, you can now see the section for my keys. Once you're in this section, you want to create a new key. Obviously, you can create a bunch of different keys if you have different applications or automations. We already have one created for our application, but the main thing when you will go to create a new key is you obviously have to put the name, description, but a main thing as well is the IP addresses. So if you're locally hosting this from your computer itself, you're going to have to open up the terminal and type in IP config, pull out your IP address from whatever your local network is. But if you are using, say, n8n Cloud or a different like you build your own customized application through a cloud server, you're going to have to grab the IP addresses of wherever it's going to be called from. So this is going to be different for everybody, so I can't really show you guys exactly what it's going to be. But whatever your IP address is, you're going to put them into here, and you can add several. So say that like sometimes you know that you filter through a few different IP addresses. You can adjust them all here. Say you have someone else developing at a different computer, you can add them all within here, like I said. So once you have your key set up, obviously you're going to get a token that is created. You're going to copy that token and keep it safe for now. And then once you have all of that set up, we'll go back into our workflow. So you have your key set up, you have your token created. We'll get back into the workflow here. So you can see on our webhook, it brings back a bunch of things. but mainly what it brought back was the player tag here. So the player tag is whatever is brought over. We pinned some data here just because we're able to get through an execution. So a quick little trick, if you're ever wanting to use n8n or use any of these automations, you can quickly go into the webhook here and you can just go to the JSON, copy it and paste it over into your workflow, and you can just pin the data over here and make it nice and easy for yourself. But pretty much, like I said, what you want to have is that player tag ready to go here. Once you have the player tag, you want to have a way to normalize it. So a lot of the times when you upload the player tag, sometimes there's a hashtag in the front, sometimes there isn't. What this does is pretty much just kind of cleans it up and makes sure that there is no of the hashtag. So it checks to see if there is a hashtag. If it is there, then just replace it with nothing. If there is no hashtag in the first place, then you don't have to worry about it at all. But this pretty much just handles that little error case of having it or not. So you can see as well, when you get into the Clash Royale API, we'll actually go to the next step first and I'll explain this to you. But pretty much the first step of what we're going to be doing is going to get the players. So we're going to make a call to the player API. So if we go into here and we get into the players and we go to get, the code that you want is going to be the URL. Excuse me, sorry. The URL is going to be the dash players and then with the player tag. What's very important, and they explain it to you right here, is that when you want to put it in the URL, so say an example, the player tags, as we know, comes with a hashtag. So example here, you can see Riley has the hashtag R90. What this is explaining here is that when you want to put it in the URL request, you actually have to replace the hashtag with a %23. Why this is, I'm not 100% sure, but you have to replace the hashtag with the code %23. And if you go back to our workflow, you can see that in the code section here, this is what we're doing. We're normalizing the tag, we're cleaning it up, and we're also encoding it with that %23. So now what our output is our normal tag, and we also now have our encoded tag. Now that we have this encoded tag with the %23, we can start making calls to our API. So now that we have the players and we have, like I said, the %23 with the player tag normalized, we can now actually make that request. So the way we want to do that is you want to grab an HTTP request node. You want to make sure the method is set to get. And the URL that you're going to want to put is going to be the api.clashroyale.com/v1/players. And then you want to grab that encoded tag that we encoded. So simply just drag it from here. You wouldn't want to drag the regular player tag because obviously it's not encoded the way that the API requested it to be. But now that you have this one here, you would just simply drag it over. Make sure the name is authorization value. This is where you're going to be putting in that token that we grabbed from the API. So make sure you put bearer first and then space with the rest of your token. Just simply paste this into here. Add another field named accept. Value is going to be application-json, and that is it. Very nice and simple to grab the player information. Just got to normalize that tag with the %23 and make sure you put it at the end of the URL with your token and everything. Now that we quickly execute that step to test it out, we can see that we have a player returned. This is just one of my friends here. And it's going to explain everything about them. So their XP level, their trophies, their best trophies, so the highest that they've gotten, wins, lost, battle counts, and etc. It returns a lot of information, as you can see here. Pretty much anything and everything about that player, their favorite cards, everything about them. But now that we have that, we now want to go ahead and make another API call. And for this one, we're going to get the battle log. So if we go back into here, we can go into the players section and we are going to get the battle log. So if you want to get a list of all the recent battles for a player, this is the API call, /players/ the encoded player tag /battle log. So once we go back into here, we can open up. You're going to grab another HTTP request node. Make sure the method is get. Same thing with the URL, api.clashroyale.com/v1/players/ that normalized player tag, which we have from over here. So you grab the normalized player tag from over here, /battle log. So now that you have all of that set up here, same idea at the bottom, you keep the rest the same, authorization with your token, accept application.json. We can execute that step and see that we have a bunch of items returned. So you can see here, it's actually returned us 40 items. And each item is quite long, as you can see. And we can actually verify that by opening up the table and see that we have a bunch of items returned with all of this. So this is a lot of data to handle, and we want a way that we can actually filter through it and kind of read exactly what's going on. So what this returns is actually the last 40 battles, of course. And if you quickly go through, you can see what it tells you about each interaction. So it'll tell you what arena the battle happened at. It'll tell you the player tags, their obviously all their information, and it'll actually show you the cards that they used in that battle as well. So now that we have all this information, the players, all the players' info, we got the last 40 battles of them. We're actually going to grab another code node. So grab a code node, make sure it's in JavaScript, and this one's very long. So you don't have to worry about this. If you want all of this information, just comment down below. I'll send it all over to you. But pretty much what this does is going to give me a report based on them. So it's going to loop through all 40 of the battles, and it's going to kind of keep a track of all of these stats here. So we're going to keep track of the wins, losses, games, crowns, card usage, rarity count, the total elixir, the evo count, amount of underlevel card, the max level, max loss streak, the current loss streak. So pretty much you can see we're going to keep a count of all of these things, and then we're going to loop through all 40 battles. So once we loop through all 40 battles, we're going to keep track of all of this, like I said, and it's going to output us kind of a response. So now that we have this, it's going to show us, okay, in the last 40 battles, we had 17 wins, 23 losses out of the total 40. Win rate is a 42%, average elixir 4.4, most used cards was arrow, and the max loss streak was 5. We did keep all of this text here in a text form, and you'll see why as we move forward. But pretty much you can see that what this did is gave us a battle report. And like I said, obviously this is just some generic JavaScript that's based on this specific workflow. So if you want access to this or you want to know how I did this, just comment down below and I'll send it all over to you. But now that we have all of our information here, we grabbed the player's information, we got all of the previous 40 battles, we analyzed it and kind of given us a complete summary of how he did. And now we want a way where we can have fun with this. So this part is pretty much just specific to my application. So you can see I made the Clash receipt, which is enter your player tag and get exposed. So this is where I've kind of built that part out. So I messaged an AI model. Quickly gave it a description, said you're a viral Clash Royale analyst in Roast Comic. You'll receive structured data about a player's deck composition, battle behavior, performance metrics, and infrared psychology. Output 2 sections only, a viral summary, and a roast. So this you can see is very specific to what I want. Whatever you're building, whatever application you're doing, you would kind of take the information and move forward. But I'll just show you guys the rest of this of how I built it out. So pretty much just have the text here to give the system an idea, the system prompt, so it knows what to expect. And then the actual text was pretty much just the battle log analyzation. So whatever you analyze about the player, pretty much just put it here. And now I want you to generate that roast, like I said. So once we execute this step, you're going to see that it's going to return us some AI generated content. And what's nice about this is because that way you're not getting the 2 same responses every time you're using the app. Every time you use the app, you can have a different response for each time. Even if you put the same person twice, it'll still be customized slightly different each time. So now that you can kind of see how we have this outputted, we have our viral summary and we have our 4 roasts set up. Like I said, this is specific to how I wanted it. Of course, if you had something different, you could do that as well. Now that we have this here, we want to merge these 2 nodes together. So now that we have our viral summary and everything, and we have our battle information, we actually want to create a receipt. So the way that I have this set up is obviously my my application. I put in the player tag. It makes a webhook call to my workflow. And now my workflow, as you can see from the webhook, the response data is going to be the first entry response. And when do I want to respond? When the last node finishes. So when the last node finishes, whatever the first entry of the JSON is, return that back to my workflow. So now my workflow knows, so I think my application knows, okay, once I send off this request to this webhook, I have to wait until the last node finishes. So now that we have it here, we're going to end up getting closer to the last node. I just want to make sure you guys, if you are following with the webhook, you want to make sure it's set to when last node finishes. And you can see now we got to the end here, we want to actually build our receipt to send it back to our application. So of course we have all of the outputted information, the viral summary and things like that. We have some more code here that is going to build out this HTML. Like I said, if you want access to this and you want all this information, just comment down below and I'll send it over. We're going to execute this step, and you can see it's just going to create us some nice HTML for us to be able to build out. So if you actually grab an HTML node and you simply just drag in this template that we created, and we execute this step, you're going to see a very basic receipt built out for us already. So very similar to the receipt that we had in our application, but it's just a little more generic for us here. And now, once it's done, it's going to send it all back. Way we can quickly test this out is we can just grab another player tag quick. So we'll grab Riley's player tag. We're gonna make sure everything is published and good here. Go back to our Clash Receipt app. We're gonna paste this and press expose me. And then we're gonna go back into the executions tab and watch it work. So you can see this one is the one that was executing. Still running right now. Give it a couple seconds and then it's now done. So you can see that I received a request from our webhook, did all the things that we requested for it, and it has sent it back, which if we take a look into our receipt app, we can see everything is here now. So yeah, very nice, quick and simple way you can access the API. Of course, as you can see, I literally only access the players and the battle logs, but there is so much more you can access by doing all the same things. So as long as you have that player tag and you have it encoded with the %23 before the player tag, you can do so much with it. And of course, you can also grab the clan tag. So same way with the player tag, there's also every clan has its own tag. You can grab the clan war information. So you can imagine the customized applications you can build. Like you can build customized war apps. So for clans that are going into war, they can kind of take a look at their opponent's information and see what they are about and kind of get a good analyzation of their opponent before they head into battle. So also cards, tournaments, locations, challenges, anything you need to access about Clash Royale is from here. Like this is directly from Clash Royale themselves. So any information that you grab from here is going to be very accurate and true. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys want access to this Clash Receipt app as well, it's pretty fun and pretty cool. You can just copy your friends like player tags in here and then kind of have a quick little roast for them to see. And you can share it with them and kind of, you know, make fun of them back and forth, and obviously kind of keep a close eye on your friends and see how they are playing and things like that. But yeah, other than that, if you guys have any questions about anything, please leave them down below. If you want to see any other videos in the future, also leave any questions you have down below for that as well. And if you want me to send you over this applications for you guys to test out and play with, also let me know down in the comments below and I'll send it all over to you guys. Other than that, I hope you guys all have a great day.